I spend a lot of time on LinkedIn. I'm sure many of us do. I have the distinct privilege of being a group admin, the Executive Suite, which is the ExecuNet group. Check it out if you're interested. And if you're a member, thank you. But my point is this. I notice, as I'm sure many of us do, the people who are up there quite often, often daily or more frequently, doing one thing and one thing only, staying in front of people with a consistent story, a value they can point to. I don't know that many or any are in a job search or planning a move. It just seems to me to be uh, a very valuable thing to be doing because you're just doing it so people know who you are long before you might need either a weak tie or someone closer to you to help you connect with your next opportunity. What's your sense about that, Sandra? Is that a valuable exercise as part of your search, your development, your management of your career?
Yes, as a long-term strategy for sure, and the reason I say long-term strategy versus short-term strategy, because depending on how immediate your need is for that job or how soon you're planning to land, there are things that you can do that have a higher ROI on LinkedIn. That would be making sure your profile is optimized to come up in the search by the people who are searching for you, which there's no evidence to say that that has anything to do with what you're posting and what your brand, what you're talking about or engaging with on LinkedIn. It does have to do with what is used where in your profile that brings you up in searches. And it's not a one size fits all right answer. It has to do with that value proposition and what your target audience is and what they're searching for. So that's an optimization issue. But a very good long-term strategy is what you were talking about because of this whole you don't just go on a job search when you're looking for a job. So I'll give you an example of one of my placements from when I was recruiting. So I use LinkedIn to find a person, okay? And I spoke with him, and he said, "Well, I as much as I would love to submit myself, I don't think I'm the best person for this job." If you're, really looking for somebody who can really tell a financial story from data, I think a good CFO would be XYZ person. And so I said, huh, really? And I'm typing them up. And I queue them up and I say, oh, yeah, okay, you're right. Fantastic. Don't know why you didn't come up higher in my search. I'm not sure. I don't remember. But I reached out to him and I said, so and so referred you. And he did not know who that person was. And I would thought, oh, okay. Well, it worked out great anyway. But when I talked to the person who told me about him originally, I said, I tried to give you credit, but he didn't know who you were. And he said, oh, he wouldn't know who I was. I saw him speak at a conference 5 years ago, and I was really impressed. And I said, wow, you remembered him from 5 years ago? And he said, well, I mean, not really. I mean, I see him every day on LinkedIn. So, because when he says sees him every day, over time of posting about his brand, he's reinforcing his brand and reinforcing his brand and reinforcing his brand. So the idea that somebody would remember you from 5 years ago, no, the name wouldn't come to mind. But you make the impression and then they stay connected to you because we don't really stay connected to people. I mean, if I told you the last time I even saw my brother, you'd be shame on me. Okay. I don't forget who he is. We chat often, but it would be shame on me. There are some wonderful people that we've encountered and very helpful people that we just don't stay in front of. And yet, if you do things right, they don't have to leave your front of mind. But if you post, you have to stay on brand. If you're posting about 100 different things in a lot of different directions, and you're trying to build a brand, I'm not saying shame on you because you're talking about things that you like or important to you and just being authentic. That's fine. But if you really want to get that brand out there, it needs to constantly stay on brand so it doesn't confuse in people's minds.